سهو وفي لهو وفي خسر.
طيب, as-salawat. There are, in terms of prescribed prayer, in the day and the night, 5 daily prayers. It doesn't mean we don't have other obligatory prayers than that. No, we do. Jumu'ah is obligatory. It's not part of the 5 daily prayers. Also, Salat al-Jinaza, Fard Kifaya, communal obligation. Okay? Also, as according to what we adopt from the scholars' opinion regarding Eid Salah, it is compulsory as well. So we're saying here that this is in terms of day and night, the 5 daily prayers. The prayer in itself, what is the rank of the prayer in the deen, is so important that it's from the 5 pillars of Islam, it comes second. After the testimony, after the Shahadat Tawheed, first practical pillar is the prayer. So 5 pillars start with the Shahadatain. Second one, وَإِقَامَةُ الصَّلَاةِ, establish the prayer. Now the prayer is being imposed upon the Prophet, not on earth, in the heavens. Do you know the story about that? The story when the Prophet ﷺ, he made the Isra wal Mi'raj, the night journey. Then after that, from that journey from Mecca to Bayt al-Maqdis in Palestine, and then from Palestine, he had the lift. It's called Mi'raj. Him and Jibreel shot up the heavens in no time. 1st heaven, 2nd heaven, 3rd heaven. Each one used to meet one of his prophets, friends, companions, like we first heaven, Adam alayhi salam, and so on and so forth, until he reached the 7th, where Ibrahim alayhi salam. In there, after that, he had the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala imposed upon him the 5 daily prayers, and that is beyond the lot tree. The lot tree indicates where Jibreel cannot go any further. He said to him 5 daily prayers, but at the beginning he said 50 a day it was, until he went down with the lift and passed by Musa alayhi salam in the 6th heaven. He has asked him, please sisters, please, if you don't want to listen, let other people listen. If you don't want to listen yourself, let other sisters listen. So he went down to the 6th heaven. So he asked him, how many imposed upon you the Lord? He said 50. He said, go back, because I tried the children of Israel, they couldn't take this. So he was between the Prophet of Allah, Allah Azza wa Jal, and Musa alayhi salam. Up and down, an increment of 5 prayers was decreased. So 50, 45, 40, 35, 20. And every time he goes down, Musa said, go back and ask for reduction. Go back for the reduction. Just like Allah khairan Musa alayhi salam. Until he went back to what? Down to what? 5 daily prayers. When it was 5, Allah, he said, that's it. No decrease. It's be 5, and you will have the reward of 50. So you're praying like 50. 5, and this is something ordained by the Almighty. He went down, Musa said, go and ask for a reduction. He said, no, I am shy now. Prophet said, I'm shy. Do you know how many prayers imposed upon the Jews? Do you know how many in Israel? 3. 3 prayers. Okay, they've got 3 prayers in the day and the night. So we've got 5 prayers. Alhamdulillah, that shows you the importance. Now, in terms of abandoning the prayer out of denial, no doubt you're a kafir. If you denied the prayer, you said, prayer is not part of the deen, you're a kafir. But you are a person, like so many Muslims, unfortunately, believe the prayer is to be a pillar of Islam, but you are lazy. You pray sometimes, you pray don't sometimes, sometimes you pray only the Jumu'ah of the whole, sometimes you show yourself on the Eid. Oh, brother, I never knew that you're a Muslim. Subhanallah. First time you see him in the Eid prayer. Okay? Sometimes the person does not pray at all, but out of laziness. He is amongst the difference among the scholars. Some scholars are kafir. Some scholars, he said, he's a criminal, not a kafir, still a Muslim. The correct opinion of the two, we believe that he's a criminal. He's not a kafir, he's still a Muslim. And we are not here to debate this issue because it will take another class. Right, now, upon whom this prayer is compulsory? It's compulsory upon, number 1, he is Muslim. It's not imposed upon one non-Muslim. Number 2, adult. If it's not an adult, it's not going to be accounted for that. Number 3, has got common sense, sane. So it's Muslim, sane, adult. If it's insane, it's not compulsory upon him to do the prayer. So as for the child, we teach him when he is 7. We could teach him before that, but we could just now watch him when he's 7. And when he's 10, we discipline him. Discipline him, that means we tell him off or slap on his hand. Why are you not praying? Slap, a light slap. No spank. Spank in Islam is not allowed. Spank on the backside. Slap on the hand. Why didn't you do the prayer? So after 10. Right. That's for the kid. As for the insane, it's a hypocrite. He's like pecking, like a crow. Maghrib starts with the sunset. So when the sunset, the whole disk disappears in the horizon in the west. That's the Maghrib starts. When does it finish? It finishes when the red twilight in the western side disappears. Do you understand that? So you look at the sun sets at the west. So you keep looking at it. When the red twilight, red, disappears, not the white. The white stays for a long time. It stays for in this country maybe another 20 minutes. Still there is a light. But I'm talking about the red. If the red disappears in the west, that's your Maghrib had finished. Normally it is the case. An hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. Not like some timetable says 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That's not correct. Okay, so be careful. Always pray your Maghrib at the beginning of the Maghrib. Don't delay it and you think, I've got until the Isha starts. These calculations of theirs is not based upon eyesight. It's all of it based upon calculation. It's not correct. Some of it is correct. Isha. Isha starts after the red twilight disappears. Until when? Until when? Okay, that's important. Midnight. What is midnight, ya ikhwan? Midnight is the midpoint between Fajr and between sunset. That's called midnight. So what time is the moment is Maghrib? What time is the moment is the Maghrib? And before you think about calculate. 4:10. Let's say for calculation 4 o'clock. Is that okay? What time is Fajr? It's about 6:30. Let's say for the sake of argument it's 6. Just for calculation. 6 between 4 and 6. What is the midpoint? Yalla. Huh? No. 11. Who said 11? Well done. Because from 4 o'clock to 12, that's 8 hours. And from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, that's what? 6 hours. So you said 8 hours plus 6 hours, 14. Half of the 14, 7. Add the 7 to the 4 or subtract the 7 from the 6, you end up with what? 11. It's not 12 o'clock. The midnight at the moment is less than 12 o'clock. It's about 11. So you cannot postpone your Isha after 11. It will be prayed outside its time. So now you understood times of the prayer. The prayer of the Wusta, the most important prayer. Which one? Asr. As Allah says, حافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الوسطى. Observe the prayers and the middle prayer. The middle prayer, as the Prophet said, Salat al-Wusta. طيب. Now we come into when do you consider that you have caught up with the prayer? Let's say that now you are praying your Fajr, you woke up, you're lazy, you just woke up before sunrise. You did not do your effort to wake up on the Fajr. You were just watching a movie and you're not putting your alarm and just basically you wake up, you don't wake up. You woke up just about before sunrise. Sunrise at the moment, let's say it's 8 o'clock. So you woke up 7:55. You need to make wudu. You need, if you have a janaba, you have to make ghusl. So if your ghusl pushed you outside 8 o'clock, you can't pray. If you made your wudu and you're not in janaba, you have to make sure that you have prayed the first sajda of the first rak'ah within the time. Otherwise, your prayer is invalid. Do you understand that? So to finish the first sajda of the first rak'ah, as the Prophet said, man adraka sajda al-ula, he catches up with the first sajda, the first rak'ah within the time, faqad adraka salah. You had caught up with the prayer. If you did not, you could continue your prayer, but your prayer is not going to count as a fajr. That means you're going to have to repent to Allah and increase in voluntary and seek Allah's forgiveness. Allah forgives you. Pray as much as you can from the voluntary in order to compensate for those missed two obligatory. Okay? Right. So you considered that you prayed within time. If you have managed to pray first sajda, the first rak'ah within the time. Same thing with Isha at the end of it, like before midnight. Same thing. Right. Qada. There's no such thing qaza. The qaza has to be done within the limitation and the condition of the Sharia. If you have forgotten the prayer, listen to me guys, if you've forgotten the prayer, totally, or you slept through the time, you pray it as soon as you remember it or as soon as you wake up, straight away. And let's say, for example, you have put your alarm there, mashallah, for Fajr, and you always wake up, but this time, I don't know, you're so tired. You've been traveling the night before, and you woke up 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. You just wake up. If you're on janaba, make your ghusl, and then you do your Fajr, and your Fajr is on time. You woke up 7:55, and you are on janaba. If you took ghusl, you're going to be outside the time. Do you do tayammum or do you ghusl? Ghusl, no tayammum. Because you have woken up with what? With a legitimate excuse. You've done your alarm, but you woke up just 5 minutes before the sunrise because you were so tired. You wake up, make your ghusl, even if your prayer is outside the time, it's still within the time because you've done your best. Don't do tayammum. There's no such thing tayammum. As for the person who is lazy, you woke up, we said 7:55, 5 minutes before the prayer, he's on janaba. He has to do ghusl, no tayammum for him. If he caught up with the prayer, caught up. If he didn't catch up with the prayer, then there's no prayer for him. He has to repent to Allah and increase in praying voluntary. Is that understood? طيب. Now you understand, alhamdulillah, what is qada. طيب. What are the prohibited times? The prohibited times is the last thing, inshallah, before the question answered. Prohibited times in the prayer are as follows. Prophet ﷺ forbade us not to pray in the following time. Listen, when the time is in its meridian, which is the zenith, about 15, let's be on the safe side, 15 minutes before Dhuhr. So Dhuhr, let's say, start 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So 10 minutes before that, 15 minutes before that, don't pray. If you go to a Hanafi masjid, you'll find a flashing clock. You seen it? Red one, the alarm. It goes during Dhuhr. That means don't pray, which is correct. You're not supposed to pray. But this is only for the prayer which is voluntary, that has no reason, like duha, general voluntary. But for a prayer, it's got a reason, like for example, you are praying Tahiyat al-Masjid, don't sit down until you pray Tahiyat al-Masjid, okay? Right. If you prayed, for example, your Fajr, no wudu, and you remembered in that time, pray your Fajr, no problem. Let's go now to the second time. Second time, when the sun is setting. So when it goes to yellow, red, don't pray at that time until it sets. Third time. Anybody tell me the third time, what is it? And that is when the sun is rising. When the sun is rising, you're not allowed to pray until it has risen. Again, 15 minutes to be on the safe side. From 12 minutes to 15 minutes. Until it is above the horizon by a spear length, which is 2 meters. 2 meters height. I was watching the sun a number of times, and I could see when it is about, I could measure about how much far it is from the horizon, and I will know that this is the time to pray your prayer. So you could start praying now. So if you are doing, for example, this 2 rak'ah of shuruq, they call it, some people they call it, when they do the Fajr, they stay until Fajr, until sunrise, and then after sunrise they wait for about 15 minutes, and they get up and do 2 rak'ah. It's equivalent to do Hajj and Umrah. Hajj and Umrah, without tickets, without plane. Ajr, reward of Hajj and Umrah, full, if you do that. طيب, alhamdulillah, now finished the 3 times, which is zenith, sunset, and sunrise. There is as well another time which is prohibited. If you have prayed your Fajr obligatory prayer, also it is not allowed for you to pray until the sun had risen 10 minutes after that. So once you pray your Fajr prayer, even before sunrise, you can't pray after that. Okay. Also another one which is prohibited, which is during the khatib when he is making his khutbah. Only to Tahiyat al-Masjid. You pray Tahiyat al-Masjid and sit down. That's it. There's no prayer when the khatib is on until... So if you are praying Salat al-Jum'ah in a hall, not in a masjid, then you have to sit when the khatib is delivering his khutbah. Now, in the Jum'ah prayer, there is no such thing as called zenith. So if you came to the masjid and you prayed 2 rak'ah and the imam is not there, you could keep 2 rak'ah and 2 rak'ah. It doesn't matter if it is just about 2 minutes before Dhuhr. There is no zenith in Jum'ah. Do you understand that? Jum'ah is different. You could pray as much as you want. As for the place, there's an exception as well. Which place? Haram. In Mecca, Prophet ﷺ, he told Abdul Manaf, don't prevent anybody who wants to come at any time, day or night, to make tawaf. And because of the tawaf, he got 2 rak'ah after that. No problem at any time. By this, alhamdulillah, we come to the last title, which is the places which is prohibited for you to pray. What are the places? Anybody title tell me? The places?
Graveyard.
Graveyard. Number 2? Toilet. Number 3? Camel pens. Camel pens or camel stables, whatever you want to call them. Okay, you cannot pray. Is it camel pens or stables? Really pens? Sheep pens, but not camel pens. No. All right, they're like horses. Right, this pens is really small. They're not gonna hold the camels. Right, the camels. Camels, you can pray at the sheep pens, no problem. Chicken barns, no problem. Well, not the camel pens. So those are the 3 places which are not allowed to be prayed in. And then inshallah, adhan is our next topic for next week, yes? Next week, inshallah. Have any questions regarding what we have heard? Alhamdulillah, I'm really thrilled of the amount of material which I've covered. Now, further.
With the women's the postnatal bleeding, if the woman stops bleeding after,
can we ask for everybody to listen, because the sisters maybe they're not able to hear, so if you could just give him something so I don't have to repeat the question again. Yes, read.
So again?
Yes.
so for the sisters, if a woman has given birth but she stops postnatal bleeding, or it becomes very, very less, or it goes away maybe after 30 days, does she carry on not praying up until?
No. If she stops the blood, she carries ibadah straight away, even if it's after 1 day. Some women is for 3 days and they stop. They have to start ibadah straight away. But if the blood commenced again before the 40 days, whatever ibadah she did in that period is invalid. Okay? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. But if she commenced blood after the 40 days, her ibadah is accepted. Now, take the microphone.
Sheikh. For example, you know the woman who has that bleeding that comes after
a woman has bleeding after
the period, so it carries on even though the menses has finished. So you said that she has to make wudu after every single salah. So for example,
that's not menses, by the way. Don't mix up, please. This is called istihada. The woman is in her istihada, which is bleeding outside the menstrual time cycle. Yes.
Yeah. So then, what about Jum'ah? Like, would she have to make wudu for the first adhan or the second one?
No. Very good question. I'm impressed here. Because we said that the woman who's in her istihada, she has to start making her ablution when the time starts. So the Jum'ah. Your Jum'ah starts as soon as you come out. So it doesn't start with Dhuhr. So your Jum'ah starts once you come out. The Jum'ah doesn't start with Dhuhr time, as people think. So you could start Jum'ah and finish Jum'ah at 10 o'clock in the morning, no problem. But no masjid does this, because if they do it, you find lots of people who are ignorant. They will say, what is this Jum'ah? I've never heard of this Jum'ah. You could make Jum'ah at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, well before Dhuhr. And you finish Dhuhr before Jum'ah, because Jum'ah is not linked to Dhuhr. It's different, okay? Now, so once you start, she started it. When she goes, she makes her ghusl, her wudu. Now, you have to take the microphone. And Ikhwani, I prefer the first rows first. Sheikh, the first row first and then the second. No, give it to him, the first row. Next time, sit to the first row. Should you take it? Priority. Father.
Did you say that if you pray 2 rak'ahs before Fajr, it's counted as if you don't have your Umrah?
Not before Fajr. No, I think you didn't wake up. Wake up now, inshallah. I said, if you have done your Fajr prayer, you stayed in your Musalla till the sun had risen, and then 10 to 15 minutes after, we said to be safe 15 minutes after, you pray 2 rak'ah, then it's equivalent to making Hajj and Umrah as the Prophet. So you have to stay until that time. It's a bit difficult. Now.
Hello, yeah. So this is just to clarify, if I've missed the prayer, but just let's say because of work or whatever, what is the process? Like, what can I do? I know it's wrong, but sometimes.
So a person had missed the prayer deliberately. There is no time. There's no way for us to reverse the time for him. We are not in Hollywood here, and we don't have Superman to reverse the earth and all of this rubbish.
Sometimes I
So,
feel like you just do it after, like you just catch up with it, like it's not right. It's the same to do it after.
Yeah, so well, afallahu amma sabaq. If you are ignorant, the person is ignorant, there's no problem. You're not going to be accountable for what he does. But now, Allah already said, Inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Prayer is time book. You have to do the prayer Dhuhr and it's time of Dhuhr. Asr is time of Asr. There are difficulties times. In the difficulty, prayers become 3 times, not 5. Dhuhr and Asr become 1 time. Maghrib and Isha become 1 time. But always Fajr stays on its own. So in luxury circumstances, the prayers times are how many? 5. In hardship times, like you're traveling, like you're being pushed, like you're a doctor who's a surgeon, you're a baker, you can't leave the bakery until do you understand me? In that sense, you could combine Dhuhr and Asr together, or Maghrib and Isha together. So they become 3 times. Dhuhr and Asr, all of it becomes 1 time. Like you have an exam, a test or something like that. You have to give somebody else now.
Yeah, just largely. So for example, me, I'm a barber and it's very, very busy. Like I'm really getting stacked up with clients. Would it be permissible for me sometimes to put them together? Like it's literally back to back all day and literally don't have.
You have to pray on the time on its prayer, unless it is a necessity. I don't know what type of work do you do. Are you a surgeon? You open the Baba. No, Baba is not you. Baba is bye-bye. Baba is a bye-bye. You have to do it on time. There's no combination. So you take a head. How long are you going to take the head when you cut the hair? Half an hour maximum?
No, it depends.
1 hour?
Sometimes 45, sometimes 8 minutes.
So I'm giving you the maximum. 1 hour?
Yeah, maximum 1 hour.
Says 1 hour. MashaAllah. Is this person, he wants you to do everything in him. 1 hour. So we say, you look at the time. Dhuhr started. I'm going to start. If I start my barbing here for this person 1 hour, then I've got time still until Asr. If I start now, it's 1 hour. It's going to kick me out into the Asr prayer. I will pray first. Brother, excuse you, sir. I have to pray my prayer. Come back and do it. That's how you do it. Put priority to Allah, not to the customer. Put priority to Allah, not to your pocket. Put priority to Allah, not to the dunya. Allah comes first. And then Allah will give you more rizq. Believe me, more rizq. Give you an example. Me and my brother, we open a bookshop next to the masjid. Next to the masjid. All the bookshops during the time of the prayer, they stay open. They can't, sort of let go of any rizq can go during that time. They have to open. SubhanAllah. We got a little sign there on the door. So every time we go to prayer, the sign, the shop, you could see from it's like a, what do you call that, screen, security. Okay? We say, we are in prayer, back, and we got a clock. We could put the clock whatever we like. So we put the clock, for example, 15 minutes after. It's 5 o'clock, for example. We put 5:15. We don't say we are back in 15 minutes because we don't know when the 15 minutes started. That's a joke. And we tell them which time. Okay? So we leave, and sometimes the shop is full. We say to them, brothers, sisters, we can't. I have to go and stop. Go to the prayer. Do the jama'ah. The prayer, it's about 1-2 minutes walk. Go to the jama'ah, come back. Believe me, Allah put rizq in that shop that we have a queue. God knows how many. The shops, the other ones are open. The other libraries are open. They don't go to them. They're just waiting for that library. And believe me, we had about maybe 1 hour backlog of these people just to serve all of this until we finish. Backlog. Allah gives you rizq. We're not really caring about these people that are open. They are letting them open. We are caring, but Allah is pleased with us. Make little rizq, more rizq. We know that Allah gives us barakah in that rizq. That rizq was me and my brother divided in half. We found much more rizq than the one we get more, yet there is no barakah into it. Alhamdulillah.
Shaykh, you mentioned about Jumu'ah. You can do it any time, like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
In that situation, would you do your Dhuhr on Friday as well? Or no?
Jumu'ah, Shaykh, if you pray Jumu'ah, there's no such thing called Dhuhr. But unless you're a traveler, you don't want to do Jumu'ah, you do your Dhuhr. But once you do your Jumu'ah, that's it. There's no Dhuhr. That's Jumu'ah. And also, if the Jumu'ah is combined with Eid, as we're going to come to the Eid prayer, there's a controversial something as well. That if you prayed your Eid which is happens to be on the day of Jumu'ah, definitely you don't have to come to the Jumu'ah prayer. But do you pray Dhuhr? That's controversial. Do you understand this? If you prayed in the morning, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever the sunrise, your Eid prayer, and it happens to be the day of Jumu'ah, you don't have to come to the Jumu'ah. And you don't have to come to the. It's good to come, but you don't have to come. But do I pray Dhuhr at home? That's controversial. Our Shaykh Al-Bani says no, you don't have to. No.
Okay. Questions from online. For the person burying a non-believing parent, is a ghusl for them, meaning the one burying, or the dead parents?
It's the ghusl no, for them, the one who is burying. You don't make ghusl for the disbeliever.
Is
Okay.
tayammum valid when there's water?
Is the tayammum is valid when there is water? If tayammum is valid if there is water, if he can't use that water. We said if there is water, but he can't use it. The water is freezing, and he can't have that freezing water because it's going to affect his bones, and he has no means to heat it up. Then he could use tayammum. Question before he goes. Question to everybody. A person is able to use the water. Can he make tayammum with the beach sand? Why? Beach sand, nice. On the beach. Very nice sand there. That beach sand. First of all, the sea is available, so you can't make it. You understand that? No tayammum is allowed because there's a sea. Massive water, mashallah. Inshallah.
If your sister gets a period after Dhuhr time begins and she hasn't prayed yet, does she have to make it up when she's pure?
I said that. Yes, she has to make it up. She's asking because it's first time struck her ears. No.
If a woman never had a husband in this world, who will be her husband in paradise? I.e., she passed away before getting married.
She doesn't have to worry. This woman, she didn't have any husband and she died. What she gonna have any husband? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will satisfy her. I'm not saying that she's not gonna have a husband. No. She will have her satisfaction like other women will have their satisfaction. So she will be given either maybe a righteous person, one of the righteous people, Allahu A'lam, but we don't have any sort of information about what she's going to have if she's got no husband in her life. I'm sure that person was asked whether it's a male or a female. He's not in such a situation. He's just asking out of curiosity. No.
Someone travels for Umrah, can they stay one night in Jeddah, then travel to Mecca the next day to complete Umrah, or do they have to complete the Umrah on the same day as they arrive in Jeddah?
No, you don't have to complete your Umrah on the same day, but you have to be in state of Ihram for the whole day till you make your Umrah. So you have to be in your clothes of Ihram. You cannot touch your hair, you cannot touch your nails, you cannot put perfume. So no problem to stay 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, up to you. But nobody would like to stay in such a state of Ihram that much. No.
Is the Hadith Qudsi the speech of Allah uncreated?
Is the Hadith al-Qudsi?
Speech of Allah uncreated.
Is the Hadith al-Qudsi a speech of Allah uncreated? Ikhwani, you have to understand what is the Hadith al-Qudsi to understand. Hadith al-Qudsi and the ayat of the Quran is differed in the way that Al-Quran muta'abbadun bi-tilawati. Quran, that when you recite it, it's like a ibadah. But when you recite the Hadith al-Qudsi, it's not an ibadah. The Hadith al-Quran, you say Alif Lam Mim, each one's got 10 hasana, 10 hasana. So Alif Lam Mim, 30 hasana. Whereas it's not the same when you recite the Hadith al-Qudsi. So when the Prophet ﷺ had said, Qala Allah, Allah said, definitely that is uncreated. But the Prophet ﷺ's wordings is created. The Prophet ﷺ's wordings himself is created. So when he says, Qala Allah, Allah said, these are created. And then after that, that is the one which is quoted from Allah. Of course, it's not created. Okay? But don't go into these details. We say, for example, Allahu khalaqana. Allah created us. And He created our tongue. Okay? So when we speak, our tongue is created. And also the words which comes out is created. But the words itself, al-maqru', which is the one which is being read from Allah, that's uncreated. Do you understand that? No.
Can a woman enter
But let me just be very important this one. So, but don't say lafzi bil Quran makhluq. My spoken of that word is to be created. That is in itself, Salaf did not use it. We don't need to say it. So, Quran is the word of Allah. Hadith al-Qudsi is the word of Allah. Okay? Hadith al-Qudsi is the word of Allah, but it's not like the Quran in terms of, for example, it is not mahfuz like the Quran. So we have Hadith Qudsi which is not authentic. Okay? So it's not like the Quran which is preserved. Number two, you can't recite it as the Quran, as in terms of each letter will carry 10 hasana. It's not the Quran. Nah, further.
Can a woman enter the masjid for classes during her menstruation?
She can enter the classes, she can enter the masjid, and this correct opinion, she could enter the masjid even on her menses. There's no proof whatsoever, which is clear cut, that she's not allowed to enter the masjid. The proof that is being brought only by Shaykh Ibn rahimahullah, which he says that the woman who's in her menstruation during the Eid, she is to avoid the musalla. To avoid the musalla here, in another region, to avoid the salah. The musalla in the Eid is not an area of salah. It's an outside. You cannot limit where is the area of the people. The more people come, the area is going to expand. So there's no such thing that on that spot you're not allowed to pray, because that spot could be what later on where people will leave. It's not right. So it's the salah is not allowed. Wallahu a'lam.
My flight leaves at the beginning of Maghrib, but when I get to my destination, it will still be Maghrib there.
MashaAllah.
Should I pray on the plane?
Where is she flying? She's flying what? Towards the west, towards America.
Question is, should I pray on the plane or when I land in my destination?
No, she has to pray when she lands. Definitely, don't pray on the plane. Even if you arrive Isha, pray on the land, Maghrib and Isha combined. Don't pray in the plane unless the two prayer times, Maghrib and Isha, is going to be on the plane. Don't pray Dhuhr and Asr on the plane unless the whole flight is going to be from Dhuhr and Asr. But if you are having certainty that the time you could land before the end of Asr, then make your Dhuhr and Asr and land on the land. Now,
does a breastfeeding woman have to breastfeed the child for 2 years? And when can she wean the baby without taking its out?
this is to do with two things for the baby for 2 years. That's the first part of the question. This is to do with, number one, what is beneficial for the child. Number two, this is to be with ittifaq, which is like synchronizing opinions between her and her husband. So she and her husband will decide how long the baby should be, but it's not a must upon her to give him milk from her breast for 2 years. It is not. This is if she wants to complete the riba, if she wants to complete her breastfeeding, but she doesn't have to. So if she could give him for 1 year, 6 months, depending upon what is good for the baby. Sometimes the milk is not enough for her. Sometimes it's going to be hurting her. Okay, sometimes it's not. So it has to be, she has to consult her husband about this. No problem to stop even the baby after 1 month, because he's not getting as benefit. But remember, babies, when they drink from the milk, is more healthy for her and for him. For her, less likely she'll have a cancer. Women, they have a cancer, breast cancer, because of, if they have milk, they don't breastfeed. When the woman breastfeeding, very unlikely you're going to have what? Cancer. So you could have cancer here, but breast cancer is a lot in the West, a lot. We didn't hear about it in our countries, very rare. Because the women, mashallah, they milk all the time, they breastfeed, mashallah. Now, and the second part of the question?
When can she wean the baby without taking its hug?
Yeah, well, I just said it. I'll explain. No.
Are illustrations in children's books and toys allowed, such as teddy bears? What do we have to look out for?
The toys for the children. Any toy for the children is a toy as long as it is a toy. Meaning, there's two opinions. Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah, has to be homemade and has to be from the wool. But the opinions of the scholars is sound as long as, number one, it does not imitate something which is haram. Have you heard about Barbie? Barbie the toy. Where they put this Barbie, she's got even her backside showing properly, even her breast is showing properly, and they got even Barbie with hijab and all of that. That is not a toy. It's basically is more of a perfection of something. Teddy bear is not perfection, no problem, but it has to be a teddy bear which can be played by the child. Not a big, huge teddy bear. If he falls on the child, they will suffocate him. Some of the teddy bears, it fills up the corner. Have you seen it? You know, that child, if he goes into it's danger, it's a hazard. That's not a child. That's as a, I think it's a souvenir. This is something to beautify your, decorate your house. It's not for a child. So if as long as a toy, I've seen some shuyukh's children, they play with proper toys. But as I said, toys which are representing not haram. Some of the toys are reflecting a caricature, for example, which is haram, like the five Salah ninjas, 5 ninjas, the immortals, the reincarnation for them and all of that. That's haram. Salah ninja. Nah.
If one makes an oath to do the night prayer, then when they normally wake up, they set 2 alarms, but they oversleep. Do they have to expiate?
If these people that 2 alarms, they can't wake up, no problem. Safwan ibn Asal, Safwan al-Mu'attal, sorry, radiallahu anh, he was one of those companions. He used to wake up very late, even after sunrise. He's done his best, and even his wife, she complained to the Prophet ﷺ about this. Okay, but he did his best.
Just a follow-up on that. Is it permissible to make an oath to do the night prayer?
So repeat the question again.
If one makes an oath to pray the night prayer, then and they normally wake up, they set 2 alarms.
Oh, so it's night prayer, not Fajr.
Yes, for the
Why do they make an oath? Don't you make oath on terms of ibadah? No. So this person, if he had made an oath and he made his best to wake up, but he did not wake up, does he expiate? Yes, he expiates. Nobody told him to make an oath anyway in the first place. Make an expiation, inshallah. But don't make an oath, that's an advice. Khwani, last questions, please. Fadal.
Last question is...
last question from here as well. Hang on a second. Fadal.
Regarding children's book, if they have pictures of them, are they allowed?
They're allowed to have pictures as long as these pictures are not haram. Fadal.
If you're traveling with your family, not with your family.
If you're traveling with your family.
So, if you're traveling and you're about to come back into your area, but you know by the time you come back into your area, the time for Maghrib will go. Do you have to pray along the way, i.e. like on the motorway, or go look for somewhere with your family, or can you come home and you can combine your prayers?
Right, so basically you came from a journey.
Yeah, so you're on the way home.
A journey, please say to me, a journey. It's a travel.
Yes, a travel.
So you came in travel, and this is before Maghrib.
This is before Maghrib.
And you came in, can I pray Maghrib? Can I just stop, have to pray Maghrib? You don't have to stop. You can just go all the way and arrive there at home at Isha and combine your Maghrib. Hasabi Maghrib. 3 rak'ah, Isha 4 rak'ah. Okay?
Okay, cool.
No problem. No. وسبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
تولى العمر في سهو